What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Believe in Bills podcast. Not a victory Monday like we're so used to here. The season is over for the Buffalo Bills as they fall to the Bengals yesterday at home. Wasn't a really great performance, but I got two people who are known to put on great performances themselves. We got two legends in the game here. Uh, Obviously, Hall of Famer Ruben Brown is with us today. How you feeling today, Ruben?
I'm making it. Picking up the pieces.
Yeah, I think we all are picking up the pieces, especially after watching that
Yeah.
effort that was put on display yesterday. But of course, we got the man, legend in two games, no Pee Wee, Coach Mookie Hawkins. What's going on, Coach? How you feeling, man?
What's good? Not a victory Monday, first time in 8 weeks, but something had to give, you know what I mean? So I'm cool with it. It ain't like that, we've been down this road before, so I'm good.
Yeah. Just like my guy, Coach Boom, in the comment section saying, it was a tough one. The Bills fall yesterday, and really didn't look inspired at all. It was just they were going through the motions. It kind of felt like, obviously, they out there playing their house out. They didn't want the season to end, but it kind of felt like it was just inevitable, especially after the Bengals go up 14-0. You're at half, you're down by two scores, you're kicking, you're punting, and it's just the effort yesterday, all three phases, coaching, all of it just looked bad all around. Coach, what was your thoughts on the game and just the overall general perspective?
They just didn't show up to play. They just didn't show up to play flat out. Like, when you at home, against an AFC defending champion, you're supposed to be ready to play this game. Bills wasn't ready to play this game. Cincinnati came in here, punched them in the mouth, not once, but twice. And the Bills didn't withstand that. They got out of their element. I think they panicked, when they were down so quickly because they haven't really been down before like that all season long. And, when you got a team like that who hasn't been behind like that all season long, it makes them very uncomfortable, and it makes them desperate. And, this is early in the game. So instead of just, dinking and dunking, trying to, climb your way back in the game, they're trying to get it 14 points all in one play. And it never happened. It never came to fruition. The closest part about it, they had a chance to, get some points before halftime, but they didn't. And then they get the ball back at half and they, go 3-and-out, if I'm not mistaken. So the players said there wasn't a lot of energy. The energy was high during the game, but again, when they got that 14 zip, the energy just wasn't there. And I'm trying to figure out, what the hell am I listening to? What the hell am I hearing? What do you mean ain't no energy because it was 14 zip? Coach said that they got out physical. This is the third year in a row that Coach McDermott said that this team got out physical in the playoffs. So this is the third time you saying that. And it's in the snow. So if you got out physical, that means you run the ball to make your team physical. You can't, I just don't act like, bro, like we're in the snow. We're going to be physical. The only way to be physical is to run the ball. The Bills was way too finesse. It was too finesse all season long, and it came back to bite them in the ass yesterday. That's my only take on it. And me and Ruben, we sit up here and beg and talk about the run game. They don't play with the physicality, and Cincinnati did, and that was the difference.
It certainly was. Ruben, you played in the NFL for more than a decade. You've been in winning locker rooms, you've been in losing locker rooms. First of all, let us know what your overall thoughts on the game were yesterday, and then also tell us, what it feels like to be in a locker room after you just lost, and not even just lost, but like they waited until the biggest game of the year to put on their worst performance of the year. Like, what is that energy like in the locker room after laying an egg?
Well, after losing a playoff game, it's really tough, because it's truly the end of your season. The regular season, you lose a game and you go back and okay, we'll come back and get them next week. But playoff time, it's a wrap. You got to pack up and you got to go home, and you look at yourself and you say, what were we really? What were the true us? We wanted to be. We had aspirations of Super Bowl. What is the true Buffalo Bills of this 2022-23 season? And they showed us that all year, but we were so excited about the potential that we got ahead of ourselves, I would think, in some cases, and also the team themselves, because after playing 13 years in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills showed me plenty of signs along the course of the season to say that they would be classified as a team. Like when I was playing, I would always identify whether it's a front-running team. And what we mean by front-running teams is if they get out in front of you, they're gone. They're not going to look back. They're going to beat you. That's pretty much been the Bills. Now, if you get them in a dogfight, all bets are off. They don't know how to handle that type of pressure because they really are fueled by success and constant success. Or if they miss a fumble or fumble the ball or something else happens for them that is exciting enough to carry them on and overcome anything that might really be a glaring issue, like not running the ball. Because, a team that isn't a front-running team is pretty much a physical, grueling team that will pound the ball out, get a win whichever way they need. They'll stay on the field all day offensively, might not score a lot of touchdowns or throw big bombs, but they control the clock, they control the game. They, just situationally win all the time. And the Bills never did that. Bills, the games that they won, they came out the gun blasting, get down the field. And the Bengals basically did to the Bills what they've been doing to other teams without a run game. But yet, the Bengals, they, with their passing attacking ability to strike really fast and deep and hard, they also had a grueling run game so they could sustain keeping the ball from you and not exposing your defense to too much. And just saying that defense problem, Mookie, you said it. What did he say? You got out physical, or for the third time in a row. That's line play. In the playoffs, you got to have superior offensive line, defensive line play in order to continue to move through the playoffs. And yesterday clearly showed Cincinnati's Bengals backup offensive line is better than our starting offensive line, and physical enough to beat our starting, supposedly semi-starting defensive line. Hey, we didn't have Von Miller. That's somewhat of an excuse, but overall, the last 3 years, Moot, our D line is not Super Bowl D line. It's okay D line. Do all right when you're up ahead and killing people with Josh and Diggs, but that falls apart. No running game, and expect pressure from that group. We haven't been seeing it all year. We got a little bit here and there, but we ain't seen nothing from our defensive line. So the playoffs just exposed us and showed us truly what our team was, overall for the season. And that's what we got against the game. I'm sure everybody was excited and pumped up to go out and play that playoff game and everything. So I don't doubt that they didn't have the emotional thing, but it's a whole lot of different pressure, and it's in the playoffs, and you down by 2 touchdowns. And you saw they imploded, and we just talking about the players. We ain't even got into the coaches yet.
Speaking of, hey, Coach, real quick, before we get into the rest of the show, what is the main, or not main, what section of the team, the offense, the defense, special teams, coaching, trenches, what section of the team do you give most of the blame to?
The offense. The offense. I mean, now I'm gonna say offense and defense because at the end of the day, Cincinnati was playing with three starters missing. You know, everybody kept talking about that all weekend. Oh, Cincinnati got 3 starters not playing. What did Leslie Frazier and Coach McDermott do to capitalize off that? Nothing. They stayed basic. They stayed plain Jane. Like their guys were going to win that one-on-one battle. Didn't happen. Offensively, what do we do to match that? What do we do offensively to match that? But come out in the same thing that we've been coming out in for 14 weeks. Josh Allen this, Josh Allen that. You know, not getting Diggs involved, not getting the run game involved. So you make yourself one-dimensional, and then you're down 14 zip. You're super one-dimensional because now teams know that you have to pass to get back in there. And guess what? We just going to go cover 2 shell, let our 4-man front peel their ears back and go get Josh Allen. Come with a spy or 2 here and there, force him to do something he don't want to do. Ball game. It's as simple as that. Like when you don't adjust, everybody want to talk about execute. You can't execute when a team knows everything that you're doing. So you have to make adjustments, in-game adjustments that both sides never did. And this is the end result. Like you said, they waited for the best game to play their worst game because teams, this is what the playoffs do. The playoffs expose what every commentator and every analyst been saying all season long about you. And when it comes to fruition, it's a big fat I told you so. I can imagine this morning how many I told you so's about this Buffalo Bills team is being said right now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's true. You cannot win a Super Bowl if you're not going to run the football. When you look at these Final Four teams, who are they running backs? San Fran, Christian McCaffrey, Philadelphia, Mike Sanders, Joe Mixon, and Pacheco. Look at Pacheco, the rookie, running wild out there. You have to run the football to take the pressure off your passing game. You have to run the football, and I can't explain on how much Ruben Brown been saying this all season long. You have to run the football. Devin Singletary had 5 carries the entire game. James Cook had 6 carries the entire game. Joe Mixon had 6 carries on their second possession of the football game. Joe Mixon had 20 carries for 105 yards, 5 yards of crack yesterday. And then Joe Burrow mixed it up, and then they caught the Bills so wide open on the pass plays. Players are just so wide open because, again, you got 7 men in coverage. Players are still wide open. You got to come up and make the tackle in the snow. They slipping and sliding. Like, you got to switch your style up sometimes. The element of surprise, but they stay so true blue to it. Again, teams use their own scheme to their advantage because the Bills are in their own way, and they're not going to come out of it. And this was the end result. They got their ass whipped yesterday because of that. Because you failed to adjust in game, believe in what works. It don't work. Now you going home, pondering on what it shoulda, coulda. You got to change that up. Now you got, like Ruben said again, they've been investing on that defensive line. Greg Rousseau, first round. Ed Oliver, first round. Boogie Basham, second round. AJ Espinosa, second round. We ain't talking about the free agents they brought in, but you're investing all this draft capital. Nobody's making plays. And that's a major issue. Now, some of them draft picks, you could have got you a top wide receiver. You could have got you a bona fide interior lineman or something. Their evaluation now is starting to be in question because you wasting so much draft capital on winning up front. And guess what? Y'all not winning up front. They couldn't get the job done against guys that Cincinnati brought off the street. So, when it comes down to contract time, I'm going to bring that up. Like, you ain't worth what we drafted you to be. At this point, in my scheme, now you may go somewhere else to be an animal, rightfully so, because the Bills not recognizing who they really have and how to use those players to their strength. if you got to switch your style up, you got to switch your style up to win a football game. Now, it's been times I'm coming off back-to-back championships, right? And I'm like, okay, I've been doing this a certain type of way for 2 years, but I ain't got those type of players. But I think I do. I find myself going 0-2 first couple of weeks of the season. What am I doing wrong? Well, this team ain't like the last team and the team previous. You have to use those players and create plays to their strong suit. Maybe they're not a 4-2-5 team. Maybe they're a 3-4 team this year with the personnel they got. Put Jordan Phillips over the center. Put Ed out of true 3-tech, how he's supposed to be. Put Tim Settle out of true 3-tech, he's supposed to be. With Shaq Lawson and Greg Rousseau, with AJ Espinosa coming in, frequently run some zone blitzes off a 3-4 defense. Give Cincinnati a different look that they ain't seen before. That's going to make them, react a certain kind of way to it. But they don't have it in them. And, right now I don't know what to expect. This team, ain't no position safe right now other than quarterback and cornerback at this point. Ain't no position safe. We know Stephon Diggs ain't going nowhere, but other than that, they still need some help at receiver too. So it's just right now. It's just boy. We can forget about them being a Super Bowl caliber. They just right now a playoff contending team. Let's just leave it at that. Until they show otherwise, it's not a Super Bowl contending team. I hope the narrative don't be that way. I hope mainstream media don't be saying, "Oh, they favorite to win Super Bowl." Don't put the Bills in that category. Because right now, I don't know if they believe in their own press clippings. For them not to come out at home and have a sense of pride being down 14-zip, I got a problem with that.
All right, Ruben, Mookie kind of went through most of the topics. So you want to give your thoughts on the offense and the defense?
That's why man was in the corner chilling, man. Go off on it. Well, look, you said a lot right there, Mookie. And I mean, I believe everything that you said. That I'd go back to say this about the Bills. The Bills are exactly who they were in the playoffs all season. The mistakes that showed up on game day, they were there before. Making adjustments, this is the only thing I would say, Mook, about them and making adjustments. They ain't really make adjustments all season. So they weren't going to make them in the playoffs, and that's not them. They come in with, definitely defensively, they come in with that one system and they're going to run it, and that's just that. Maybe it's time for Leslie to go take it somewhere else. And same thing with the offensive coordinator, for him to really be calling plays and setting up and working with Josh to make him look like he's actually regressed, not good. And then up front, line-wise, we've gone out and did a lot of different things by Josh stuff. And you're right, we drafted some guys, but we ain't hit on our line on defensive side or offensive side to build our team to be that Super Bowl team. We got some good pieces here and there, but we need that line. That line up front was the story yesterday, both ways. And if you have a better line, I think you can do a better job coaching, and definitely coaches that are committed to establishing a run, because everyone knows about this time of year, you need it. You can go the early part of the season and throw the ball around and do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, you're going to need that run game. And you can't run if you don't have big guys up front. You can't stop it if you don't have the big guys over on the other side that can do so or are producing. So none of that happened on our team. It was happening all year long. So we ran into a buzzsaw team that's well coached. I mean, they a well-coached team. And our team all year showed signs that it wasn't as well coached as it had been or we hoped it would be. And we just pretty much got exposed, I would say. Going forward, shore up the offensive line, shore up the defensive line, and I think we got a shot to continue to be in this position to fight for a championship.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, just looking at the game, I give Leslie Frazier, a lot of blame.
Yeah.
Some of those formations were just deplorable. 3rd and 4, and you got the corners 10 yards off the receivers. I will never understand that. You just quick out to Jamar Chase and you picks up 5 yards. And that was huge 3rd down because they were down by 2 scores. If you hold them to a field goal there, the game is less, you know what I mean? And you take off time off the clock. McDermott made a lot of questionable decisions where, you're in a fight right now and, you're punting here, you're choosing not to take a field goal here. You're doing, there was a couple of situations where I feel like he made the wrong decision, similar to years in recent years in the playoffs where he's made a decision that was extremely conservative. It's like, are you trying to win the game or are you trying not to lose the game? Because if you're trying not to lose, chances are you're going to lose. You're not going to win, So this is what I want to ask you guys all across the board. I think all 3 coaches, because the way I look at Ken Dorsey, I was just like, you know what? We won 13 games and, it seemed to be working. So I was like, I gave you the benefit of the doubt, but it's the playoffs now. You got to bring something. Miami, okay. And then this game, he just brought the exact same thing every single game past the bye week. And it was, like I said, Josh back and pass. It was just all like, Josh, go out there and do something. That was the offensive scheme. It was Josh, go out there and do something. So that was really just the vanilla-ness of the offense and the defense really, really was extremely disappointing, especially to be there in person and just watch all those fans leave. And, you got Bengals fans being able to just talk they mess, to all the fans. And like, man, that hurt, man. Like, I couldn't believe they went out there and laid down like that. I really couldn't believe it. This hurts to me more than last year's where the 13 seconds and all that crap, because I could say my team fought. We went to the wire. My quarterback was the best player on the planet that day.
Yeah.
I can't say any of that today. They didn't fight. I don't know if the players would even say they fought, because Matt Milano was saying that, typically the defense will make a stop and then the offense will score and then there's some type of momentum swing. There was no momentum swing because the defense couldn't make a stop. And when they did, the offense was just like, here's the ball back. So it really was bad from every single angle. I can't think of a bright spot in the entire game. I really cannot. So I want to ask you guys, there's a ton of opinions on the internet. Some are more ridiculous than others. Like, for instance, the people saying that we should have got rid of McDermott and upgraded Daboll to head coach. Come on, let's be realistic. That's nonsensical, guys. Like, I respect everybody's opinion, but come on. People want Daboll gone. People want Frazier gone. People want Dorsey gone. And some people even want McDermott gone. So I'm going to start with you, Ruben. Who, if anybody, should be not returning next season?
This is par for the course. This is what we always do in Buffalo. As soon as the season's over with and doesn't end the way we want to fire everybody. Really, and deep down. And once we calm down, we try to realize, all right, who was good, who wasn't good. But what needs to be fired is the offensive concept, number one. That has to be fired. Number two, whoever prepared, schooled, or developed our line play, they got to go. And after that, you take your pick, but I don't think the head coach should go. He's fine. If he can bring in the right people that will improve these areas that I just spoke of. And I only talked 2 areas, and you could be winning the Super Bowl. You just do that.
Yeah, the Bills picked up Aaron Kromer this offseason, who was the offensive line coach back in the shady days when they were the #1 rushing team in the league. And of course, they don't run the ball now. So, it's a bad situation.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna get to Coach in 2 seconds. For me, I want Dorsey gone. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I watched him this season. I said him, Shula, and who's the other one? Brady?
Left.
Yeah, Brady.
Right.
When I look at those 3 offensive minds, I'm like, yo, there's so much creativity here. We're going to be unstoppable with Josh Allen.
Right.
There is no creativity in the offense whatsoever. None. I'm sitting here watching the Bengals, quick pass here. All right, motion here, run up this gap. All right, now let's take a deep shot. Let's go to our best player. All right, cool. Now we got Higgins, running across the middle, butt naked. Like, I'm watching all this. Oh my God, don't get me started on watching the Chiefs game. I watched Chase Daniel go 98 yards because of phenomenal play calling. Phenomenal play calling. There's motions here and pre-snap. It was phenomenal. I was like, oh my God, every single play, somebody's wide open. Yeah. And that's who the ball is going to. Like, the play was meant for that guy to be open, and he is running by himself now. And then you watch the Bills play, and it's just like Josh Allen scanning the field every play. And I'm just like, something needs to happen now. I'm not going to put too much on Frazier. Like, I do give him a nice chunk of the blame. But when I consider that, Sean McDermott is the head coach, and he's also defensive-minded, and B, Leslie Frazier really don't have a ton to work with. His defensive line is really not good. His secondary is full of injuries. I'm not going to put a ton on Frazier, although I do think he did a horrible job yesterday. But Sean McDermott did as well, and Dorsey has been doing a pretty bad job for a little while now. What about you, Coach? Who do you think, if anybody, needs to go?
Oh, Dorsey definitely got to go. I mean, if it come down to somebody out of those 3, I say Dorsey. I mean, it's just like, I think the postseason was. I think that moment is probably too much for him. That's like having rookie quarterback in the playoffs. That it might be a little bit too much. So you want to give him the necessary help and the support and the people around him, so it doesn't expose himself. Now being offensive coordinator, you ain't got nobody around you to keep you sane. This is all on you. So with this being all on you, again, dismal in the run game. Like, I'm sitting up here begging for a draw for the running back. Like, they are playing cover 2 shell, dropping 7 back in coverage. Why we just can't drop it down to the running back on the draw? Why we can't do a screen in the most meaningful part of the game? Why are we not doing any crossing routes when the middle of the field is wide open? Why are we not really taking what the defense gives us, just deke and dunk down the field, chip at it? Why are we not getting under center and giving our running back a pitch out? Why are we not doing design rollouts with our quarterback? It's so many things that you can look at this team and say that they're not doing, and you're not playing the team to their strong suits. Cincinnati had the Bills dangling on the string yesterday. They set them up real good with the calls and all of that. How guys is wide open. Had that Hayden Hurst, that fake stand up, hit Hayden Hurst up on the scene. They set that up so beautifully that, the Bills knew the calls and everything, but that was the new wrinkle. You know what I mean? We don't have no new wrinkles to any of our play calls. There's no element of surprise with this team. And this is why it was so easy for the Cincinnati Bengals. They said it on Monday night prepping. They're a very basic team. And guess what? 3 weeks later, they're still the same basic team. That's why Cincinnati had a level of confidence out of this world that they knew that they were going to win the game. They went out there and showed it, punched the Bills in the mouth, and the Bills ain't punched back. And that's just that. You don't have no in-game adjustments from the offensive coordinator, and now it's just bombs over Baghdad versus cover 2 shell. We pressure Josh Allen. He's not going to throw the ball the way he wants to, and he was off the mark. He was off the mark. Didn't get you don't get Stephon Diggs involved. Like, it's your job to be creative enough to get him the ball. Travis Kelce is an unstoppable tight end, and everybody try to double team him, do whatever. He had what, an NFL record, 15 catches? Like, come on, man. Like, how we're not creative, don't have enough play design with the weapons that we got, and we're not using them correctly. So, if anybody, Dorsey will have to go, my book. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get any better going into next season with him. I think it's just time to bring another guy in. He interviewed for the Carolina Panthers job on Saturday. You're supposed to be preparing your team.
Go.
You get it.
And I don't even mean to be disrespectful. Like, I'm not trying to, like, crap on him or anything. I had high hopes for the guy, but, like, it's clear that he just didn't know what to do with this offense. Like, Mookie, you was talking all year. He was like, you know how many points I would put up with this offense? There's just no creativity at all. If I see another wide receiver, if I see another situation where there's two wide receivers in the same area when the ball is thrown, I'm going to freak out. Like, I'm going to lose my mind. It just, the entire situation, all of the offense all year, after the bye week, at least, was just, honestly, just subpar, if I'm being honest. Like, your only saving grace is that 17 is out there and 14 is out there. It's literally it. That's your only saving grace. If not, if we don't have 17 and 14, then I swear we might win like 7 games this year. I genuinely believe that. But
yeah, with him being the play caller.
Yeah, exactly. All right, look, but speaking of Stefon Diggs, saw a situation on the sideline where he was kind of expressing himself to Josh. Throwing his hands up multiple times, like, what's going on? Also heard reports that he, was in and out of the locker room, got undressed, got dressed, and got up out of there, came back for whatever Sean McDermott was saying, and then got up out of there. First of all, Ruben, you can speak to this. You've been a player, and I'm sure you've been, frustrated with coaching plans and game plans and schemes. First of all, how hard is it to hold your emotion in those moments? And B, do you blame Stefon Diggs for his his actions yesterday?
No, I don't blame him because that's what he always been. He's always been that. I think he's been on a good run of being quiet, and there hadn't been any adversity. So, there's no way it would show up, but adversity showed up, and we saw what we had seen in other places and other times in his life. So that's something. I think as a player, he's got to put in check. Unfortunately, I've been a victim to it, of yelling and screaming on the sideline, throwing my helmet down, stomping off, and stuff like that. I've definitely been a victim of that. But at the end of the day, I sit in for the meetings and stuff until they throw me out. They get rid of me. That's a different thing. But I'll be there, and I'll try to be there for my players. I've gotten into arguments with some of my best friends, me and John Fina, me and Olin Cruz. Got into really heated arguments and stuff, but we've been able to, just understand that was the competitive deal and not anything personal. So it's hard to watch because it's something deeper that they need to address, because listen, it's not a good look for the team. All right. It's not a good look for him. Now him and Josh are going to have to discuss this all until next year, and it could frustrate him and have him, get ticked off about it and turn it into a whole thing when it shouldn't be a thing. And also us watching it should just be like, yeah, Stefon will do that. You know what I mean? You're not throwing it to him. He's going to say, what the fuck? And I've been on the team with a lot of great receivers. You don't throw it to them in crucial times. They think they can contribute. They're going to say, hey, fuck the cameras. Get this ball over here to me, But like I would tell my top receivers when they would do that, they're like, hey, not right now. Like, wait till we go to the locker room or get them in the shower, or, pull them where nobody can see. That's a part of being a premier, the top level, receiver or guys like that. That's when you can do that. The Bills don't need what he did. He don't need it. And just to call it out and call it what it is, wrong. I done did it. And people told me I was wrong when I did it. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't I say to another brother, like, yo, man, I done did it. So don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I respectfully concede to you, as the former player and everything. I'll just say this before we get out of here. Stefon Diggs, to me, has been being very patient with this offense. He's been perturbed for quite some time now. And he finally let it go in the biggest game of the year. And, if the leader of my team isn't that emotional, then I might feel some type of way about it. I'm glad he was that emotional. I'm glad he let everybody know how frustrated he was. Personally, I'm happy about it because I think that's what we need. Somebody needs to speak.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all wanna do y'all ending segments, or y'all wanna just?
Oh man, I think we did it.
We did it. And that the Stefon Diggs rant is because of Dorsey. He ain't do it with Dable.
Yep.
He ain't do none of this with Dable. So it's all on the offensive coordinator not being creative enough to get your star player the ball, even if he is being double teamed. Use him as a decoy the right way instead of just having him run off and then we still can't get the ball. We can't move the sticks. So if you're not moving the sticks with him not touching the ball, I don't understand. I just don't understand that concept. So yeah, he vented to me. He still vented. Like when he how he touched the ball 6 times against Miami in the first half and have 100 yards and then don't touch the ball no more. Like it ain't that much adjustment that the other team did in the world that to say to take Stefon Diggs away. You know what I mean? The play calling is taking Stefon Diggs away.
Yeah.
And that's why he's upset. And everybody want to point at Stefon Diggs, oh, he's not a team player. He's a bad guy. No, the guy want to win because we have a better chance of winning with the ball in his hands. Who else we going to put the ball in the hands to if all we doing is throwing the football? We not running the ball. So who we throwing the ball to? Duh.
Yeah.
So that's why that rant comes with Stefon Diggs. You know what I mean? Yeah, he obviously is frustrated by the play calling. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
All right, guys. Listen, there's a lot to discuss this offseason, so you guys will be seeing us back here. But we're going to go ahead and get up out of here for now. So, Coach, go ahead and send us out, man.
Pac-Man, I don't know if somebody gave you some intel of what you was talking about during the course of the damn week, but that's okay. Y'all sent us home. We're going fishing, but that's all right. We still believe.